hands-free, that's still a distracted driving.
Provo police will be looking for distracted drivers on the road.
And one of our mottos is a little something's better than a big nothing. And so if everybody does a little something, then that adds up to a lot.
Provo Sustainability Committee creates initiatives to fight climate change.
And it's based on science, it's based on research, it's not based on some of the fear-based information that we're seeing on the internet.
Doctors say there's nothing to fear about the COVID-19 vaccine for kids. Welcome to UniverseLive. It's Thursday, November 4th. I'm Ali O'Rulian.
And I'm Blake O'Rulian.
Utah children are now eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
Governor Spencer Cox is recommending that parents get their 5 to 11-year-old children vaccinated. Information on how to get an appointment to vaccinate your children can be found at the Utah Department of Health website or at coronavirus.utah.gov/vaccine distribution. If you have any other questions, please reach out to your doctor. It's one of the biggest concerns from parents when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. Could the vaccine somehow impair their children's future fertility?
Mandy Gaither talked to top U.S. health experts who say this is not a concern. They want to debunk the vaccine myths.
It's official. Children ages 5 to 11 are now eligible to receive Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine.
Having that 5 to 11 vaccine available to them is a huge achievement. For us as pediatricians. So we're very eagerly excited to be able to finally vaccinate this age group.
A recent survey found that 66% of parents with children in that age group worry that vaccines might negatively impact children's future fertility.
It unfortunately came from a bit of misinformation, and it got picked up in the press and propagated through social media.
The American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists are united with other doctors and public health officials in saying fertility is not a concern when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine.
I would be the first person who would jump up and down and make a fuss if there was a connection here. There simply is not, and we don't need to worry about this one.
AAP spokesperson Dr. Hina Taleb also says the COVID-19 vaccine won't affect puberty and won't permanently alter menstrual cycles. Any parent with vaccine concerns is urged to reach out to their child's doctor.
I think most pediatricians will be able to talk you through what you need to know in order to make that informed decision. And it's based on science, it's based on research, it's not based on some of the fear-based information that we're seeing on the internet.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
According to the Utah Department of Public Safety, more than 5,000 accidents a year are due to distracted driving. Joe Belknap is live in Provo. Joe, why are police cracking down on distracted drivers?
You know what, Blake? Cars like this, it might not seem like it, but they could be more dangerous than a gun. Check it out. It can be very easy to get distracted while texting your buddies, or if you drop your phone and you're reaching for it, or if you listen to that new Adele song and you can't really see the road through your tears.
Just this week, a teen was hit by a car on Canyon Road.
It was a 16-year-old foreign exchange student from Spain, and he suffered several broken bones, some head trauma.
He is expected to make a full recovery, but was the accident caused by distracted driving?
That particular incident, I can't say if it was due to distracted driving or not.
Since Provo is a college town, there are a lot of pedestrians, so being alert for those crossing the road is key for safety. You can probably guess the main culprit of distraction is,
cell phone devices. That's been a huge one. We do a lot of traffic enforcement with people using their cell phones while out on the road and such.
But it's not just cell phones. This retired highway patrolman has seen it all.
Women put on their makeup while they're at a traffic light or even driving.
Are there any instances where using your phone while driving is okay?
There are exceptions to the rule, such as using GPS.
Proceed to North 500 East Street.
But the sergeant says to make sure your coordinates are set before you start driving so that you aren't trying to multitask.
A lot of people think that they can multitask.
Studies have shown that while you can technically multitask, one of the tasks will not be performed well.
I'm sorry, one of those skills is going out the window, and it better be the one that is not going to cause some life-threatening event.
Bottom line is, put your phone down and pay attention to the road. Reporting live in Provo, I'm Joe Belknap.
Thanks, Joe.
Millennials in several Utah cities top the nation in home ownership. According to a recent Homeownership Report by FilterBuy, the COVID-19 pandemic sparked a house buying trend among millennials. Salt Lake City ranked #1 in large metro cities with 51.4%. Clearfield, Utah millennials have the highest home ownership among mid-sized metro areas with a rate of 64%. The report ranked Provo at #13 with 51%. All three of the Utah cities are higher than the nation's average of 40%.
Right now in Scotland, prominent leaders discuss their hopeful contributions to combat the climate crisis. Harley Hunsaker looks at what has been proposed on both a global, national, and local scale to fight the dreaded effects of climate change. Harley?
Yes, that's right. The 2021 Climate Change Conference is being held right now in Scotland. A lot of big names are making commitments to help reduce the effects of global warming. But that's in Scotland. We're in Provo. So what is the city of Provo doing, and what can we do to help limit the effects of climate change?
Leaders cheer for a brighter future.
Let this be the moment that we answer history's call.
But the serious faces reflect the grim nature of the conference.
We are digging our own graves.
Experts say COP26 may be the world's last best chance to address the climate crisis. But people everywhere are tackling it, including right here in Provo.
Well, we advised the mayor and the city council on how to keep the air clean and the water pure in Provo.
I talked with the Provo Mayor Sustainability Advisor, Donald Jarvis.
You name it, we grow it.
About Provo's role in all this.
We have actually got the city council to mandate that by 2030, 60% of our electricity will come from renewable sources.
That will include the help from an all-electric city hall, which is expected to be built by June 2022.
Another way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions is by using a yard waste-only garbage can so that the yard waste can be composted.
Jarvis thinks only about half of Provo citizens use any type of recycling can, so that's something you can do. Provo also planted 1,000 trees in 2 years, but does any of this actually help?
It's kind of like parenthood. Nothing you do is ever enough. I think our city of Provo sets a good example for other cities in the region.
And Provo is helping the nation.
To show that our climate commitment is action, not words.
The White House set to launch a long-term climate strategy to get to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, but you can help now.
Another thing you can do to reduce carbon emissions is ride a bike. And although I am not very good at it, who knows? Maybe it's something I'll pick up. Reporting for UniverseLive in Provo, I'm Harley Hunsaker.
Thanks, Harley.
Elder David A. Bednar and his wife Susan Bednar say they fell in love with the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Middle East. The Bednars went to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. They also visited the area where the newly announced Dubai Temple will be built. The growth of the church in that area of the world was astounding to them.
The growth is steady but gradual, but the increase and strengthening of the faith is miraculous.
Elder Bednar held meetings with members and church leaders during his travels, and his messages focused on Jesus Christ being the source of all truth. He also talked about how important it is to be united by differences, not divided by them. The Bednars also highlighted the work done by many of the church's charities in that area of the world.
The Orem Police Department welcomes a new member to their team, but this officer has 4 legs and a tail. Canine Officer Doug is trained and certified in narcotics detection. Check out this video of Doug and his handler, Officer Hancock, at a school assembly. Doug sniffs around for the drugs, wagging his tail in the air until he locates the narcotics and sits down. This signals to the handler that he found the drugs, and he waits for them to come and retrieve them. Officer Hancock rewards Doug by playing with him after his successful find.
We'll be right back.
Get it.
Get it.
Get it.
Give your town a reason to celebrate, because every Goodwill item you bring home brings job training and more to your community. Goodwill, bring good home.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
If you've been to a local skate rink lately, you've probably seen the custom skate trend that is sweeping skaters off their feet. Joseph Andreasen is in studio. Joseph, is this a new style?
Yes, it is. The new sneaker skates have rolled into Provo and taken the skate scene by storm. I spoke with a pair of skaters to get their perspective on the gnarly new trend.
I went roller skating with one of my friends a month ago. This is when it all started. And she had brought a bunch of her other friends, and they all had like really cool roller skates made with like Vans and Nikes and stuff, and I was like, what the? These are the coolest skates I've ever seen.
Hunter Eve has only been skating for a month or two, but it didn't take her long to come across the current trend in skating footwear.
I was like, did they make those? And she was like, yeah, they made mine too. And then I looked down, and she has the coolest skates ever, and I'm just in my rentals, and I was like, I think I might need some of these.
So where did these custom shoes come from?
I made 3 sets for 3 pretty girls, and then they started getting questions about them at Classic. And then eventually I made an Instagram account, and then I just started following different roller skating companies, different roller skaters.
His account has steadily gained followers, but people wanting to buy shoes have faced some financial obstacles.
High top Vans are around $65, $70, but then the pieces to make the skates can cost up to $200, depending on how good of quality you want them to be. So it can add up to almost $300.
So how has Ozzy managed to shred the competition and get his business plan rolling?
I actually charge less than anyone on the market that I know of, at least. So I'm getting orders like crazy.
Having found his role in the niche market, Ozzy's business was on a roll, and orders came rolling in.
I sold 2 skates to a lady in Guam. I've sold 2 pairs to people in Hawaii. So it's really it's blown up a little bit quicker than I anticipated. I wish I had a better business plan, but I'm just rolling with it, just making them out of my garage. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Despite the cost of the unique footwear, customers seem determined to let the good times roll. Back to you, Allie.
So I guess it's true what they say, skaters gotta skate. Thanks, Joseph.
The 2021-2022 school year marks a big year for the Marriott Center, celebrating its 50th anniversary. Brindley King is at the Marriott Center. Brindley, what do fans have to say about the Marriott Center?
Great players came together for a special breakfast and practice to reminisce on the Marriott Center's 50th anniversary.
And we got the best coaches, we got the best fans, all right here. Provo, Utah, man, there's nothing better.
Cougar Nation is super special, so to be able to have people like this come and watch us, it just gives us a little more joy and gives us a little more competitive.
I asked BYU fans what their most memorable moments from the Marriott Center are.
My most memorable moment is actually BYU Education Week. I just remember going there with my mom and loving everything I learned.
I didn't expect how big it would be, and I just felt the love and excitement of BYU.
Probably when President Nelson came in 2019, everybody was so excited about it.
The Marriott Center holds events of all kinds, including devotionals.
My most memorable experience from the Marriott Center is probably the devotionals there.
To be in the Convert, it's just a special moment for me being here at BYU, especially at the Marriott Center.
As well as sporting events.
My first BYU basketball game, I'm pretty sure it was BYU versus Utah.
For many, their first exposure was new student orientation.
Student orientation a few years back because it was the first time I was in the Marriott Center as an actual student.
New student orientation.
It is where graduation is held.
My wife's graduation.
Along with tons of performances and productions of all kinds.
One of my favorites is going to BYU Spectacular.
I knew a bunch of people in the choir, and I was just like, I love BYU.
It's an environment of fun.
I went to a basketball game, and it was super fun.
As well as a place where the spirit can be felt.
I would go to the devotionals every Tuesday, and I just loved being able to feel the spirit in between my classes, and it was a nice little break.
Watching the devotionals, they're always so spirit-filled and amazing.
The Marriott Center is one of the many places on campus that helps and encourages students to learn, grow, and to serve.
Whether it was years ago, now, or in the future, Cougar Nation is ready to create more moments right here in the Marriott Center. Here's to the next 50 years. Reporting for the UniverseLive, I'm Brindley King.
Thanks for joining us today for UniverseLive.
Have a great day. Did you hear they're making Thanksgiving ice cream?